So we're in the Ortona Armory
Yep.
on 102nd Street.
Yeah, the Ortona Armory Arts Building.
And this is an art center, you say?
It's a city-owned building, and artists just they came to the building just sort of organically, and we've called it an arts building. And it's full of filmmakers. Film and Video Arts Society of Alberta is here. There's Edmonton Folk Fest has a space here, and different painters, filmmakers, myself, sound artist, other doers and thinkers. And so we have a space here. The installation is in the public space that we have in the building, and it's used for different parties and things like this, installations and concerts, whatever you would like. And yeah, it's a nice organic kind of building. People are, sometimes you come into the building and there's film projectors filling the hallways and people just experimenting and doing things. They needed a bit more room. It spills out of their studio into the hallway.
How long has the place been open
nice.
then?
I think artists started moving into this building in the early 90s or mid 90s. So it's just, over the years people come and go. And
So it was an armory. It was an old military
it was an
installation.
armory up until the 70s, I think, and then it was the National Film Board for a bit, and then after that, I think the Film and Video Arts Society came in here, and then the artists started moving in.
So the FAVA, is it, the Film and Video Artists? They
Yeah.
were the first people to move in here. And
As artists, I don't know for sure,
And they were
to
doing
tell the
productions
truth.
here,
Actually,
or?
no, who was here? The first artists in the building were the Trin Can Steel Drum Orchestra. They were here in the 80s even, I think. And so it was sort of a slow progression. And also the Edmonton Folk Festival, they had an office here for quite a few years too, actually. So different organizations.
And your studio is nearby, or you work in this building actually?
Yeah, I have a studio here.
So there are different artist studios, and there are 3 floors here, I think, or two floors, and then this common space.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
There's a lot of collaboration happening between the different
there
associations
totally
here.
is. Yeah. There's lots of collaboration going on between people in the building. Like I work with different filmmakers in the building, and I'm on the board of FAVA, and Beams is also, sort of considered. This is the home of Beams as well, and so yeah, there's lots of collaborating going on, which is really nice, And it's like, the building, we just pay our rent, and it's not, we don't get funding for this place. We raise money. We have a tenants association, and we raise money, and we put money into the upkeep of the building. So it makes it a little easier on the city. So it makes it a little, maybe
So
they'll
they leave
keep
you
us
alone a
around.
bit.
Yeah, exactly. So that works. That works well. If there's small things that we can fix, we do, and we probably spend, I don't know, $20,000 a year on the building or something.
Okay.
So like this room, we renovated ourselves. We paid for it.
The collective, the tenants association,
Yeah.
the group.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in here then? You've been in here because of Beams, or you moved in here independent
I moved
of
here
Beams?
because of FAVA. I started doing a lot of film work in the 90s. And I did an installation upstairs. There's actually a gallery upstairs, the Ortona Gallery. And it's like a private gallery. A guy just has the space and puts on shows. And I did a show there for a month, an installation, sort of work in progress thing. And then someone asked me if I'd like to go on the waiting list for the studio space. And I thought, yeah, that's great. I was getting into installation. You need space to build. And so a couple of years later, I ended up getting a space. So there is a pretty long waiting list, though. It's like people don't die off so quickly. But
Or move away.
yeah, sometimes. There's actually a bunch of new people in the building. There's been a shake-up recently, and so it's really good. New blood, bunch of crazy young guys.
What are they doing now?
They're working with film, any kind of film, 3D photography, just black and white, color, 16 and 8 millimeter film. They're playing with projections for live performance. I work with the guy now. It's this guy Patrick Perez-Pilon. And so he's been doing visuals for my performances lately, and with Mile Zero Dance. And so doing like, say, 10 film projectors with loops and burning the film in the projector and scratching the film as it's going through the projector and this sort of thing.
There've been a couple of comments here and there about Edmonton being sort of having a long history of experimentalism, being quite having diverse approaches to the various kinds of art forms, sound or film and visuals.
Probably, and it's probably because it's so isolated here that Montreal or Toronto is a long way away, and Vancouver, you only go there if you're 20 years old and want to go nuts. And so it's like I think in the arts community there has been a lot of sort of homegrown stuff, and like for myself it's like I was here and doing experimental music and grew up here doing that, and lots of people left, people that I collaborated with when I was young out in the world, being very interesting artists elsewhere, and I'm the one that happened to stick around. But I think because of it's so isolated, we did develop our own artistic sense, and probably in other disciplines too, like at FAVA, the film co-op, and there's lots of pretty great experimental filmmakers and stuff that have happened over the years.
And are you doing similar things then in Estonia, or did you basically bring over what you've been working on here, or is there just a
I do different things, yeah. In Estonia, I started working with dance company there with interactive dance performances. So I first started doing that stuff with them in Estonia. And in Estonia, mostly I've been teaching. So I wouldn't say that I've developed a ton of art there, although I have. But my time there is usually spent teaching in various universities, either sound art or interactive art or sound design or electroacoustics. So
you mentioned that you founded a course within the film program in one of the schools there in Tallinn.
At the Baltic Film School.
And that was a sound design for film course, or it was a
Yep, sound design for film. But then I take a creative approach. I don't teach like film sound design. There's some other guy there who teaches how to use Nuendo. Although I do teach courses on Nuendo and editing and boom and all that stuff. But I felt it was important to teach listening and creative sound making and using tools to be creative with sound, and then applying that into sound design. So that's been my angle there. So the administration doesn't always understand what it is that I'm doing. So depending on who's hiring at the moment and what they're looking for within the departments, my teaching levels go up and down. So but it's worked. Like I've taught, I don't know, hundreds of students in Estonia, and there's a real sound thing happening. It's pretty cool now. It's really exciting.
Great. Thanks, Shawn.